Hey everybody, how's it going? I'm Sethum and welcome back to another video. This time around I'm going to be doing a video for Conan Exiles, and in this video folks I'm going to be showing you 5 amazing base locations in Conan Exiles. And obviously in this video what I try to aim and cover is both for the PvP players as well as the PvE players. There is a large PvE community in Conan Exiles, and I personally, for example, like to build large bases. Obviously, I like to go for the more castle build, so I'll keep that in mind throughout this video. If you guys like what you see or have other ideas and suggestions for locations in a future video, put them down below in a comment and I'll be more than happy to show them off. So the first location that I'm going to show you is this, where I am right here. I'll show you the location on the map as well. So as you can see, it is on a bit of a cliff area, so I suppose it can serve a bit of a PvP based location, in the sense that if you build tall walls it's going to be hard to get to. Obviously you have to bear in mind that you also want to do something about the siege locations, and so that down there is more or less a starting area where you'll come up into the Dafari camp. I forgot what it was called nearly, and so down there is where you can do some farming and get some thralls and stuff like that. And the way we built on our server is through kind of putting up a set of steps, but you can put an elevator sort of thing. And I know it doesn't look big, but trust me, it's quite decent what you can do with this location. So basically this is where it is on the map, and you can see the little castle icon because that is one of the locations where one of our friends has built his base. Obviously I helped him with it, but I can tell you from experience it is quite a decent place. So where I was showing you right there with the crosshairs there, you can also add some stuff if you want to, if you feel like it. And for the most of it you do want to look out, because there are the hidden rock noses or rock tooth or whatever they're called. So you do have those under there, but you also have a good area of resources for the purpose of starting out, but then you'll have to bring stuff up here. Another good location, again in the newbie area that I like, and I did initially start building a base here, is where I'm currently going. This is actually on my server where I do my testing. This is obviously currently on the local or single player. And so as you can see, I built a decently large base. It's well high up, so climbing is not going to be a thing. But if you take over one of these cliffs, you should take over both of them, especially if you are on a PvP server. So you can connect them with the purposes of or with the lifts. As you can see, a decently large structure that you can build here. You do want to go out on these cliffs, so you do want to have the base of your base larger than the cliff, because it does make them harder to scale for players. So that is one thing I do suggest for PvP purposes. And again, you've got this area right there, which again you can build a huge base. It's going to be challenging to siege because there isn't actually anything next to it, so definitely an amazing PvP based location. And I have used this location in past videos. This is where I do on my server all of the thrall tests when I test them against the winged bat boss. So there we go. So this is what it kind of looks like. That area right there is slightly smaller than the one before it, and so you can extend and make a large base. Another amazing location from my perspective, both for the size that it has and the fact that it can be used as a PvP location, is this right here. This is where I built my castle. It's close to Seppermeru, which is pretty much a central hub for many things. You do want to be close to Seppermeru if you can, if you go there often. And right here I built my castle. Now there is something to note here, that because it's close to Seppermeru, you will be limited to the building area. So where these cliffs are, I built so the cliffs will be on my right. I built a castle there. I used the grounds here, and around here, this area where I'm showing you, you cannot build, but that's both a good and a bad thing. You can't actually cover it with walls and make the scaling aspect of it or the climbing aspect of it difficult, but that also means your opponents can't build there, which is very important. So if they're gonna try and attack you, they'll have to climb up the cliff, then climb up the walls to get into your base. That's the way it's going to work. Apart from that, you can build pretty much anywhere. Now on my game, I connected this area right here, this little cliffy area, with that right there, through a bridge. Again, it's a PvE server, so I can do that. I built a massively huge bridge, and I'm trying to build a bit of a Colosseum stroke village right there, so you can use that as well. But again, right there where those structures in the game are, right here, yeah, you cannot build in this area because obviously underneath it is the entrance to a dungeon, and that's just the way it is. So just do bear that in mind. But again, a nice large area where you can build a nice castle. You want to cover that as well. If you're on the PvP server, you do want to make it as challenging as possible. You don't want people to use siege weapons against your building. You do, if they're gonna come in, they're gonna have to come in on foot. So another bonus area that I like, and if I were to be on a PvP server, is probably where I would build, is right here. There are many structures like this throughout the game. You can even go higher, but again, besieging this area is going to be an absolute pain. So as you can see, I've already tested it out. You can build on it. You saw where I spawned on the map, so I'm not going to be focusing too much, but you have a lot of climbing to do. Now if you build this, I probably would use an elevator, and then when you're finished and log out, then just pretty much pick up the elevator and place it back down when you come back. So that would be the way I do this. You can go outwards. I do recommend you go outwards with a structure here. You can build fairly decent in terms of size, but if you go outwards, it won't be just a matter of climbing. And when you swap from climbing upwards to scaling a ceiling, it can become a bit challenging. It does make the players use that extra stamina to get up to the side again, so where they can, to a point where they can climb the wall. So you do want to factor that on PvP servers. Another location that I like, this is more of a PvE location, but it can be used for PvP purposes as well, simply because again, you are on top of a cliffy area. For other tribes and players to get to you, they will have to do some scaling, but it's not as well defended as the previous ones. However, it is quite high up, and as you can see, there are cliffs all around. Now where my crosshairs are, there's a little tree that acts like a bridge, so you'll want to cover that. Then you'll want to build maybe a drawbridge or something on this next section right here, and there is a path up here, so you can use this like a little kill hole if you want, but you want to cover it in the sense of you don't want to make it easy for them to place down any siege weapons to besiege your building. So that is a possibility that they can do here. So as you can see, a very decent area in terms of size. It is more or less cliffy. It's not the best PvP location, but you can still work with it. The next location I'm going to show you, there is actually one that's really nice in terms of PvP. It's going to be a massive challenge for anyone to take that on. It would take a lot of time, and I'll get to that in the point later on in this video. But as you can see, this is what this location has to offer. It's pretty neat. It's fairly flat, so it'll allow you to do a lot with. So you want to kind of cover that bridge, and that would be, say for example, the entrance into your castle. Then you want to go up there and build whatever structure you want to build. But if you cover that way up, that just means they can only come at you from one location, one position. Now this is the next location I'm going to show you, and right here you can build quite a bit. So this is kind of, let me just show you what you can do. It's a bit difficult. I don't know why my mouse cursor is not showing up, but there is a large area here that you can build. It's very narrow, but as you can see, you have the wall on one side, and on the other side a massive cliff. So the only way up is to scale the walls, which is not going to be fun. You do want to be careful when you build. You don't want to get too close to the wall because it will kill you instantly. It's instant death even with the admin command. I know, because I tried to see what would happen. So yeah, they can't get you from the back. They have to kind of climb up, and you can use these cliffs to build, say, pillars and stuff like that, so that they don't have a place to rest. If you're going to build in an area like this, what you want to do is give them as much vertical climbing area for them to climb, so that they use up their stamina, and make sure that you take out any possible resting area. You don't want them to regain stamina. If they don't have stamina, they can't climb, which kind of makes it more or less unraidable. There might be ways around it, but obviously, if you want to That's what you want to aim. So you kind of want to cover this whole area and make sure that there aren't any little nooks and crannies where your opponent would be able to rest. Again, I advise that you go outwards with your structure a tad bit. You want to add that ceiling that they'll have to climb before they get to the outer walls. So that's always a good thing. Now, the more experienced players will know how to manage that. Those that don't know, the way the camera angle shift does actually sort of invert the controls. So it can be challenging, which means they can run out of stamina. It is quite high, therefore they can pretty much die if they fall. It's going to be, you know, very defendable. Next location is up here up north. Again, this is a very large area. There are actually quite a few areas up here that you can use, but this is one that I like because it does have black ice. It has ice and black ice. So the way I would probably build here, I'm just going to use admin command to show you. Very cliffy, very difficult to climb. Again, I'd use massive walls or tall walls just to add to the height that the players would have to climb to get to me. I would probably leave this little peninsula that I showed you, that little area, because there's black ice there. Good place to come and farm it. If you have your base next to it, you don't even have to go very far. As you can see, very cliffy, very difficult to besiege that. There is a weakness to it, but you can protect against it. So I'd probably start building maybe from here onwards towards the outer walls, the green wall. And you can see in the distance the little structures look like crosses to me that say that the outer wall is there. So you don't want to get past that or touch that because you'll die. There's that area right there. This is a weakness, so you can try and cover that. On the bright side of things, there is plenty of ice here. There is a respawnable source of black ice if you build here, and you also have these creatures right here that will probably yield some resources. They do tend to respawn. Do bear in mind they are mini bosses, so I'm just going to show you that as well. And another positive to this particular location, unless people know that your base is up here, they will not see it because you're that high up. So do bear that in mind. Unless they come here looking for black ice or something like that, they won't find your base. You're that high up in the location. Another area you'll want to cover is that down there. But all in all, a nice location to build. This is probably more of a PvE location. You can use it as PvP just because of how high up it is, and most people won't come up here because there's really not that much to get from here. There is a bit of black ice, but there are better places to go and farm it. And again, we have the wall. As you can see, there's quite a wide area to cover and defend if you have to, if you want to, if you're on PvP servers. Other than that, it's fairly flat, so you can do quite a bit. I'm going to show you that you can also build here as well. I'm not going to place anything down, but as you can see, it's not stopping me from actually placing down structures. So it's okay, it's a good place. I mean, these are just 5 locations that I personally like. If I were to build a base, this is where I would want to build it. In the north, obviously, you'll want to consider the cold. You want to build a base that will keep you insulated. Same thing goes for armor. This is an area where you have to factor in the elements. And yeah, again, for the purposes of getting back down quick, I'd probably build a ramp of some sort with a lift in it. And there are, as you can see, all of the areas, like the little peninsula areas, you can build in all of them if you want. So it's, you know, any of them will do. This is actually my preferred place simply because it also has that black ice that you can use and regularly farm, so you'll have a non-stop supply of black ice if you don't cover up the nodes. So very, very good location from that perspective. And that's kind of pretty much it, what I wanted to show you. I mean, there are many more locations where you can build, and the common theme with these locations in this video were locations where you can build large bases that can also be defendable in case you want to use these on PvP servers. Some are better than others, but that's just the way it is. If you guys have any other ideas, suggestions, or locations, you can put them down below. I'll go and check them out. If I think that they're worth showing, I will show them. And I do hope that you have enjoyed this video and found it useful and informative. If you have, please don't forget to support me on the channel by hitting that like button, subscribe to the channel, if you are new and haven't already, for more similar content from myself. And if you have just subscribed, why not? Check out some of my other videos and guides here on the channel. Who knows, you might just enjoy them. And don't forget to hit that bell icon so that you get notified when I upload new videos and content to the channel. Also, for those interested, you can always find me on the Sethtopia Discord. Links to this, of course, you can find down below in the video's description, as well as in a pinned comment from myself. Until next time, stay safe, folks.